Hello everyone and welcome back to Caverns of the Snow Witch. When we last left off, we just arrived in Stonebridge, and instead of the funfair, that's the victor's prize, or the hero's prize, we found it besieged by hill trolls, which we disposed of some of them, but yeah, it's the mood here is not very jolly or celebratory, so um, Red Swift's telling us that we should move on, and so we are. So we are actually exiting, or we have exited Stonebridge, heading east along the bank of the Red River. And now, while keeping a lookout for hill troll patrols, we cannot help wondering what it is that Red Swift has to tell us. Right, even more stuff we need to take care of. We have hunted down the Yeti, killed the Snow Witch twice, escaped her lair, came to Stonebridge, and now it seems that our adventures or trials and tribulations are still not over yet. Hidden among the trees to our left, Red Swift suddenly spots 3 hill trolls sharpening their weapons on a stone. Right, we need to perform a luck roll. Our luck is at 8, and I just double checked. Actually, we have quite decent chances, 60-something% chance. Even if your luck is at 7, a successful luck roll is still above 50%, 56% if I remember correctly. So we can fail, but we are most likely to succeed. And we got lucky. Wow, we rolled an 8, so that's great. The hill trolls do not see us, and we are able to slip by them unnoticed. I wasn't afraid of them. Even if we had failed this luck roll, that would have been acceptable. But probably this is better. We're definitely not going to take any hits from them this way. And the dwarves will take care of them, presumably. Even though it is quite cool walking along the bank of the Red River, we start to sweat and feel dizzy. We look at Red Swift, and he too looks far from well. His face is white, and his eyes look dark and sunken. "Sit down," says Red Swift in a labored voice. We gratefully stop and collapse onto the grass, quite worried now as our heart is beating very fast. "Do you remember walking through the caverns of the Snow Witch, and arriving at a door with a piece of parchment nailed to it? You could not understand what was written on it, and asked me to read it. It was a death spell, and now we are both doomed. It is starting to work on us sooner than I expected. We have to find the old man of the hills that they call the healer. Only he can save us now, but I fear it may be too late already. My legs are so weak, I don't know if I'll be able to stand up again." Alright, that's some pretty neat news, and also an interesting new quest for us, I guess. So it seems that we are doomed, and in order to escape, we need to locate and talk to this healer. Wow, that's really great. I mean, we didn't obtain any riches, any treasure from the Snow Witch's lair. We didn't get anything at all in Stonebridge, not even a hero's welcome. And now it seems we must, kind of fight for our lives. That's great. Now, once again, we don't have a choice here. We drank the potion of health that belonged to the Dark Elf, so we need to select this option. Hopefully that helps. The death spell is not working as quickly on us as it is on Red Swift. We help him to his feet, apologizing that we made him read the infernal spell. He tells us not to worry about it, as he was as good as dead anyway as a slave in the ice caverns. We manage to struggle on for another hour, carrying poor Red Swift on our back. Suddenly, his fingers dig into our arm, and then his whole body relaxes. The death spell has won. After burying our elfin friend in a leafy glade, we set off as quickly as we can towards the Moonstone Hills. But we are weak and cannot walk very fast. We lose 1 skill and 1 stamina point. Oh, come on. I really didn't like this one. The 1 stamina point I don't care about. It's 18 stamina points plus a potion of strength. We're really fine. But now we're back to 12 skill, which is not bad. We are still guaranteed to succeed all skill rolls, but still it's annoying. Anyway, we're still alive. The ground becomes steeper as we approach the foothills, and we wonder which way we should go to find the healer. We could continue east following the river into the hills, or we could cross the river by the rope bridge ahead of us and walk south along the base of the hills. Now this is a valid choice. I mean, both are valid choices, but we are clearly weakened at least, and our luck is at 7, so I'm not going to risk the rope bridge. It will probably require a luck or some kind of roll, maybe a luck roll or a skill roll. We would succeed in a skill roll, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. Let's not cross the river yet. I mean, hopefully we can do it later if that's where our road leads, our path leads. So let's continue east. At least we are not in any imminent danger just walking along the river. The river narrows and the ground becomes steeper. As we climb, we feel ourselves becoming weaker by the minute. We lose 1 stamina point. That's awesome. I think that is going to be a recurring theme here. We're going to just regularly lose health like this, hit points, which is fine, I guess. As long as we don't lose any more skill points, we are going to be okay for quite a while, to be honest. Especially if we don't lose them one by one. We walk past a large hollow tree stump, paying it no attention until we notice a thick vine, which is tied to its roots and runs up over the edge of the stump. We look inside the hollow stump and see the vine disappearing into its black depths. Alright, in the Forest of Doom we had quite a serious adventure inside a hollow tree stump. So I guess this one hides something as well. We are not going to ignore the vine, that's for sure. This is an encounter we are going to take. We could climb down the vine or pull the vine. I'm going to pull the vine first, and if everything seems well, so then we can climb down the vine, because you know it might be trapped or anyway. Once we pull the vine, we can throw it back and then climb down on it. So it seems that this is like an extra option that we can take. Let's do that, and if we can, let's explore the depths of this hollow tree stump. As we pull up the vine into the light, we see that it is crawling with revolting flesh grubs, their blind heads writhing around in search of living flesh in which to burrow. Oh, that's disgusting. We release the vine, but one of the grubs crawls onto the back of our hand. Fortunately, we manage to pull it off and stamp it underfoot. We gain 1 luck point. Okay, that's actually pretty good. It didn't cost us anything, and we gained a luck point for like nothing. We will not find the healer in the tree stump, so we decide to carry on walking up the river valley. Now it's really interesting. I understand that the healer is not in there, but something probably is. So it's kind of interesting that we cannot explore here. Maybe it is actually that same tree. I don't think it is, though. That was south of the river. We are still north of the river, so on the northern bank. So anyway, I'm kind of disappointed that we cannot explore the what it hides, even despite the danger. We don't even get the option to do that. So, well, anyway, let's proceed. To our left, we see a narrow footpath leading from the bank of the river into the trees. Okay, this is another encounter we could skip, but we are not going to do that. Let's walk up the footpath and see where it leads. The footpath twists and turns through the trees before ending outside a wooden hut. Okay, we creep up to the hut and look through the window. An old man wearing purple robes and a grey skull cap is asleep in an ornately carved rocking chair. The shelves on the wall behind him are lined with jars of herbs and berries. Okay, this actually might be the healer, so it may be that we found him very quickly, although it has a really interesting chair, doesn't he? With the skull handles, and he's resting his hand on one of them. Anyway, we definitely want to enter. Even if he's not the healer, we should interact with this guy. When we open the door, one of the man's eyes flicks open. He seems, however, unconcerned at our intrusion and remains stretched out in his rocking chair. Alright, we could tell him we are lost, or we could ask if he is the healer. We are looking for the healer, so maybe he can, if he is the healer, then we won, and if he isn't, then maybe he can direct us in the correct path. So let's ask him. The man springs out of his chair and says, "Indeed I am. What ails you, stranger?" We tell the old man about our adventures in the ice caverns and the spell that is slowly destroying us. The old man smiles and says, "Death spells, they are easy to counteract. just need a jar of my special mixed herbs. A bargain at only 50 gold pieces. We are surprised that the man wants to charge us money to save our life, but he seems quite adamant. Alright, well, it seems that we have found a healer. He doesn't seem to be a very noble character, to be honest. And yeah, he wants to sell us our life, and we don't have any money on us, as we have repeatedly stated, so we do not even have the option to pay the man for the herbs. So actually we cannot even leave like that or through any other option. The only choice we can make, so it's not really a choice, is to threaten him. So let's do that. We want to live after all, so let's see how he reacts to that. We draw our sword and advance towards the old man, asking him why he is so eager to acquire blood money. We pin him against the wall, holding the point of our sword under his chin, and ask him to explain why a so-called philanthropic healer requires 50 gold pieces for saving a life. The old man starts to tremble and says, "All right, I'm sorry. I'm not the healer. I'm only a simple herbalist. Down on my luck. I figured that soon you wouldn't be needing your gold anyhow, so you wouldn't mind me having some of it. I realized that it was a foolish thing to do. Listen, you can have some of my own pills that stop my aches and pains. They might help. No charge, of course." With our sword tip still pinning him up against the wall, he reaches into his robes and pulls out a small bottle. He opens it and hands us 3 green pills. We grab the pills and leave the hut, telling the old man that he is lucky to be alive, and he sure is. Outside we have to decide what to do. Alright, so it seems that we have not found a healer. I was kind of suspicious about this guy anyway. At least we didn't lose any money or anything really at all. But that was really a low move to charge us money for no real help actually. In any case, he gave us some pills now, and we're still on the hunt for the healer first of all, and he gave us some pills to alleviate the pain, I guess. Let's swallow them. I don't think he's carrying on him poison pills. That would be kind of silly. So even if they don't work, I don't think they're that horrible. So let's see. The herbalist was true to his word. The pills reduce the pain and we feel marginally better. We gain 4 stamina points. Okay. Intent on finding the real healer, we walk back down the path and up the river valley. Okay, that's actually not bad. We're up to 21 stamina points. That's great. Actually, I don't think we need more than 21 stamina points. So let's proceed. That so far it's acceptable. We spot a small open space between the rocks and trees on the far bank of the river. Something is cooking over a fire and we can see the smoke rising, but there is no one to be seen. Perhaps they saw us first and are hiding. The river runs fast and is quite narrow at this point. Large rocks jut out of the river and it would be possible to cross over by leaping from rock to rock. Alright, we can still proceed walking up the river valley, which is a valid option, but I think this is an encounter and that we need to cross the river, and I don't think we can get back to this one. So I don't want to miss out on this, especially food. We might obtain some more stamina, not that we need much more, but anyway, let's cross and let's see where it leads. The rocks are slippery and far apart. In our present condition, we find it difficult to jump from rock to rock. That kind of makes sense. I should have thought about this. Anyway, we need to roll one die, and it's interesting. We're not performing a skill or a luck roll. It's a random die, so let's see what we roll. 1. What does that mean? When we land on the 3rd rock, our foot slips and we fall into the river. Alright, so that was the negative outcome. Awesome. We are swept downstream and we are too weak to swim against the fast-flowing current. Okay? Once again, we don't have the option to choose anything here. We have less than 400 gold pieces, so what happens? We just managed to keep our head above the surface of the water, but we are unable to swim to the bank. Okay, we must test our luck now. We have a 60-something% chance of succeeding. We are lucky. We see an overhanging branch, and we manage to grab it with one hand. Since we are carrying a shield, we will have to let it drop into the river, losing 1 skill point, so that we can haul ourselves out. Oh, that's rich. Now we are down back to 11 skill points. We lost the only item that gave us any bonus. That sucks. And actually 11 skill points is not that great. We were just recently at 13, which was excellent, but this I'm not feeling so happy about it. The 2 stamina points that we were also going to lose I don't care much about. Summoning all our remaining strength, we managed to pull ourselves up to the up onto the south bank of the river. We feel totally exhausted. We lose 2 stamina points. Okay, we still live. The curse of the Snow Witch. We cursed the Snow Witch and set off east back towards the place where the fire was burning. Right, we're still not giving up on that encounter, so let's see what that is. As we approach the fire, we smell the delicious aroma of a duck being roasted. We draw our sword and walk warily forward. Suddenly, a sinewy man with long hair and a beard jumps out from behind a rock, screaming at the top of his voice. He is wearing animal furs and carrying a stone club which he raises to attack us. Okay, looks like a caveman or something similar. I don't think he's that dangerous. Let's dispose of him real quick. Even in our weakened state, he shouldn't pose a threat. And, oh, no, he's a Wild Hill Man. We have met Wild Hill Man. They were pushovers back then, and he's a pushover now with a skill level of 6. We outskill him by 5 points still. And if we had kept our shield, it would be, of course, 6 points. We would double his skill, by the way. And he needs 3 hits to go down, so that's not really formidable either. And as I said, this shouldn't be a problem, and it isn't. Actually, we could escape across the rocks to the north bank, which is kind of weird, not that we want to. The Wild-Heeled Man carried nothing of interest to us. However, the duck is ready to eat, and we enjoy a delicious and nourishing feast. We gain 4 stamina points. Alright, that is actually, that part at least is excellent. I'm really sad we lost our shield. That was very unfortunate. We could have rolled the other numbers, one of the other numbers during the crossing. But we are up to maximum stamina, believe it or not. I don't know when it was the last time that we had maximum stamina, but it was quite a long time ago. And we still have our potion of strength, so we effectively have like 40 or so stamina points, to be honest, because we can drink that one as well. So hopefully that will suffice. Now we could go back across the river or follow a goat path up the side of the hill behind the clearing. Let's go back across the river. Hopefully this time we won't have to roll again. And let's see where that one leads. We managed to hop over the rocks without falling into the river. Okay, goody, and we didn't need to roll against anything. That's awesome. However, the death spell continues to take its toll. We lose 1 stamina point. Okay. I guess that's fine. 22 stamina points is sufficient. If we survive, and we survived, we turn right and walk up the river alley. River valley. Through the trees to our left, we see a tall man with pointed ears and fair hair. He is wearing a green cloak and he is busy carving arrow shafts with his knife. He is an elf, similar in appearance to Red Swift. Okay, so this is how Red Swift probably looked like. Maybe he also had tattooed eyebrows. I guess that's part of their culture. As well as the ponytail, I guess. Alright, so a wood elf like a Red Swift, we know that they are relatively dangerous, not that dangerous, and they're not necessarily hostile immediately. So let's not attack him straight out. That sounds like a bad idea. Let's ask him if he knows where the healer lives. We can still fight him if we have to, but I'd rather avoid a fight with 11 skill points, to be honest. The elf asks us why we are looking for the healer. We tell him about our battles in the ice caverns, the death spell, and how poor Red Swift met his end. "Red Swift!" cries the elf. "He's my brother!" He explains that his name is Ash, and he never knew that his brother had been enslaved by the Snow Witch. Suddenly, saddened by the news of Red Swift's death, he walks away and stands silently in the sunlight. After a few minutes he says, "I will help you find the healer, but you will have to face him alone, because he will only make contact with the sick. He was disfigured and cursed with disease and pain by the Dark Ones, the evil spirits of the night, for ridding a wizard named Nicodemus of a death spell they had cast on him. Now he practices his work in the solitude of the hills. Follow me. It looks as if we have no time to lose." Alright. That's actually so far good news. So we met the brother of Red Swift. Hopefully he's at least half as nice as his brother. And he seems like a decent fellow, so we're in good hands now. And we learn a bit about the healer, that he's disfigured, so obviously it wasn't the herbalist. And we also know that he has healed, cured Nicodemus, who now resides in Port Blacksand. Alright, so everything seems connected. Ash walks ahead of us, constantly alert for danger. We climb up the valley for an hour before reaching a rope bridge which spans the river. Okay, we've been to this rope bridge, actually. Ash says that we will have to cross the bridge. We tell him that we will have to rest first, as the death spell continues to drain our life force. We lose 1 further stamina point. Okay, so this has cost us 2 stamina points, but at the very least we've learned something, and we are actually proceeding at a decent pace, I guess. Later we tell Ash that we are ready to continue and step onto the bridge. We are about halfway across when we suddenly hear voices shouting. We look and see 2 hill trolls cutting the ropes which secure the bridge to its supports. We hurry as fast as we can towards the far bank. Alright, we have a luck of 7. We might easily fail this. We have a 50-something chance of succeeding. And we actually got lucky. We just managed to scramble up onto the far bank as the bridge crashes down into the river. Ash urges us to follow him as quickly as possible along the footpath which leads up the side of the hill away from the bridge. Okay, so that makes sense. I guess we survived this. I wonder if we had failed, if we had died. I mean, if we had just fallen off into the chasm and just, you know, ended our adventure there or something. But I don't think the bridge was very high up. It was just above the river, so maybe we would have just lost something. Anyway, we didn't. Let's proceed. And I really hope we don't need to perform any more luck roll. Oh, we did. The game didn't deduct it. Okay, that's actually great. We still have a 56% chance, I guess. That's a bug in our favor for once. That's good. By the time we reach the top of the hill, we are panting very heavily. We lose 1 stamina point. Okay. And the stamina is our stamina is now at 20, which is blah. We are so exhausted that we do not look about us and only hear Ash's warning cry as a death hawk dives down to attack us. Ash fires an arrow at the bird of prey. Ash's skill is 9 and we need to roll against Ash's skill. I would still prefer our skill. Obviously it's higher, but that's okay. It's a death hawk. We have faced death hawks before. They are total pushovers. They're no stronger than that wild-heeled man was. So I think even if we fail, this shouldn't be a problem. And actually we fail, so so Ash missed, probably. Ash's arrow just missed the diving Deathhawk. Before he is able to fight again, the Deathhawk attacks us for some reason, even though it was Ash shooting at it, so whatever. Alright, 4 skill points. I remember this one. This it has no chance of winning. We outskill it, still outskill it by 7 points, so it's practically impossible that it will even score a draw. The combat has lasted long enough. Wow. If we manage to survive 2 attack rounds, not even win, but survive 2 attack rounds, then Ash waits for an opportunity to shoot and fires another arrow at close range. This time he does not miss, and the Deathhawk plunges to the ground with an arrow protruding from its breast. We were 1 hit away from killing this beast, so I'm not going to thank him because, you know, we were not in any danger, and this Deathhawk was already plummeted. Pummeled into meat. Alright, anyway, we've disposed of this adversary as well. Let's proceed. The other side of the hill slopes down into a gorge, and Ash tells us that we must now journey alone to meet the healer, okay? He tells us to walk east up the gorge until we see the head of a phoenix carved into the rock. Alright, so we learned something. We must search for a phoenix head carved into the rock. Alright. The healer lives in a cave in the side of the hill above the carved rock. Okay, makes sense. We thank Ash for his help and walk slowly down the hill into the gorge. At the bottom we follow Ash's instructions and turn left up the gorge. Okay, so I think we are very fortunate to have met this fellow. I'm not sure if we had been able to find out the correct path to take, and we definitely wouldn't have known about this phoenix carved into the rock, although we would have investigated. We investigate everything, so that only makes sense. Anyway, we seem to be close, or relatively close, and we know where we are going, so let's go there. We see a rope ladder hanging down from one of the trees on the left side of the gorge. Looking up, we can just make out the frame of a wooden hut almost hidden among the branches. Okay, we can climb up the ladder. This is definitely not the healer's house, but we're pretty fine apart from the skill points. We are okay. 20 stamina points is more than enough, far more than enough. So I think we still have time to investigate this one. Let's climb up the ladder to the tree house and let's see what lives in there. As we climb the rope ladder, we hear the noise of shuffling feet on the platform above us. We climb through a hole in the platform, but we are not greeted by the healer. Obviously, we knew that. We have intruded into the hideaway of a vicious man-orc. We draw our sword as it reaches for its axe. Alright, this guy looks dangerous. I mean, on paper. Haha. But neither men nor orcs are that strong, so let's see how powerful it is. And not really. With a skill level of 8, we outskill it or him by 3 points, and he's very soft. He only needs 3 hits to go down, so it shouldn't be a problem. He might hit us once or something, but you know, we're not in any real danger. And he didn't hit us at all. It was a pushover. The only items we find that might be of use are a candle and a tinderbox. Okay, so that means we can see in the dark. That's actually good, I guess. We take them and climb back down the ladder to continue walking east up the gorge. That's also great. It didn't cost us literally anything. So far we didn't even suffer 1 stamina point damage from the death spell, and you know, it cost us nothing to get these items. I don't know if we get to use them, but they were practically free. We walk round a large boulder and see a huge man sleeping in the shade. He is lying on top of some animal skins, snoring loudly. His 2-handed battle axe lies propped up against the boulder. He is a barbarian, and it would be foolish to wake him up, so we decide to tiptoe past him. Now, we have actually fought quite a few barbarians on our first adventure, our third adventure. They're not that dangerous. They're probably a bit stronger than this man-orc was, but you know, it's not like they're super scary. Anyway, we don't get the choice. We are not wearing elfin boots, we are wearing ordinary boots. I don't know where we could have picked up elfin boots, but we didn't, so hooray. Barbarians are used to people creeping up on them, and the noise of our boots on the stony ground wakes him up. Okay? Barbarians also fight first and ask questions later. That we know. We found barbarians that we saved, remember? And then they attacked us on sight anyway, immediately after we have saved them, so that kind of makes sense. He jumps up and grabs his battle axe to attack us. And this guy looks actually quite dangerous. He's all muscle. He's probably actually going to be stronger than the other barbarians we have faced, because they were either half dead or, you know, kind of emaciated. Anyway, let's fight him. It's not like we have another choice. And yeah, with a skill point of 9, he's actually not that weak. We're still stronger, and he will go down in 4 hits, so we are still favored. But yeah, we are going to suffer some damage. That's only to be expected. Alright. So far, 2 hits on both sides. Okay, 3 to 2. 3 hits on both sides. This fight is going too evenly for my taste, but we won, and we still have 14 stamina points left. Alright. The barbarian's only interesting possessions are an engraved copper armband and a leather pouch containing 3 silver arrowheads. Okay, silver arrowheads, I guess. We take the arrowheads and look at the engraving on the armband. On it we can just read the words "Strength is power." Okay, let's wear the armband. We could do with some boost, I guess. And we are a bit weak now, around half stamina, but we are definitely not yet drinking the potion of strength. We are going to eat until we are really on the brink of death. because it's gonna bring us up to maximum health. So let's not waste it yet. We're still fine, I'd say. Let's try to wear the armband. Let's see what it does. The armband is charmed with magical power. We gain 1 skill point. Hooray! We realize that we must hurry on up the gorge before the death spell runs its fatal course. That's actually great. And once again, I think this is bugged, or this is not how it's supposed to be. This is an item, so it should give us a +1, not so a +1 to our starting initial or maximum skill level, not to our current one. But in any case, since our current skill level was lower than the maximum, we got back to maximum, which is actually great. 12 skill points is okay, is acceptable, and I'd say it was definitely worth losing 6 stamina points for. We also gained the 3 silver arrowheads. I guess that's also going to be useful, or if not, well, it's nothing negative. So let's proceed. To our right, we see a huge slab of rock. Carved into it is the head of a fabulous bird surrounded by flames, so a phoenix. Rough steps lead up the side of the rock slab to the mouth of a cave. Alright, so here is the phoenix carved into the rock. It's quite an elaborate carving. I was expecting something, more primitive or just less fancy. So we have found the healer. Awesome. Hopefully he will be friendly, and hopefully he will be able to cure us from this death spell. But that we'll have to find out. We will have to find out in the next video, because I'm going to make the cut right here. I thank you all for watching. I think this is going to be the final episode, because we are going to be hopefully cured of our death spell. So I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you for the finale. Bye bye.